your own boycott Asian businesses. Please. I love when the black community says let's boycott Asian businesses. I love when the black community says let's boycott Asian businesses. Please do. We'll get rid of the Chinese takeout, the dry cleaners, the laundromats. Let's get rid of the liquor stores as well. Get rid of the Jordans you guys wear, the Nikes you wear, the shower caps, the Hondas, the Hyundais, all your car electricians, the electronics in your house, the Sony, the TV system, your sound system, the microphones that you guys use to rap and speak about awareness for the black culture and hip hop culture. I love when the black community says let's boycott Asian businesses. Please do.
Is boycotting these people businesses, and they feeling it. I'm talking about the lady was in there, real life crying. Y'all just doing y'all big one.
If you're an Asian business that said go ahead boycott when the black community said they were going to boycott Asian businesses, instead of reassuring them that you value their money, their lives, their anything, instead of making your black customers feel safe with you, instead you went on the defense and said, don't shop here. Are you fucking serious? It's as simple as saying we value you. We see and understand your anger, and we want to make sure you know that you're safe in our business. Black customers have been extremely important to the success of a lot of Asian-owned businesses.
I had no idea there were so many black beauty supply owners. I had no idea. But won't God do it? He might do it in some crazy ways, but won't he do it?
Welcome. I am Dena, and you're tuning to another discussion with Dena. I am so very happy to see so many of us showing support to black businesses in our own black neighborhoods. This black boycott is something that is long overdue, and I really hope that this is something that continues and never ends. The black neighborhood has always had a problem with what I deem bloodsuckers. And those are those that come into black neighborhoods and set up their businesses, and they profit from those businesses. However, they carry much disdain for the people in which they service. They come to the neighborhood and they become wealthy, and they do nothing to contribute to enriching the neighborhood that makes them wealthy. And they feel they have no obligation to do so. These are what I call the bloodsuckers. They also come in with this ideology in which they feel they can disrespect, mistreat, or even take the life of some of our people. And often it is done unjustly. This has always been a problem in many of our neighborhoods, in many of our communities. However, there has been a need for change, and we see some that are trying to do just that. To hear some of these anti-black bloodsuckers grandizing themselves, it reveals what many in the black neighborhood have always suspected about some of these business owners. Some of them really believe that somehow they have achieved something that black people cannot. And it is asinine to think that, to even have conversations in which they grandize themselves, when we know that what is really going on and has been going on since they came here and were put in that position. We've always known how they got there. So it is completely asinine for them to have these ridiculous conversations and videos in which they like to put themselves on this pedestal as if they have done something that no one else can do. So, and to hear the complete asinine conversations and videos put on social media by these supercilious foreigners in many cases, in an effort to insult black people who have made them wealthy by supporting them in what many of us deem squalor or mediocre businesses. It is completely absurd, to say the least. But I always wondered, why didn't they go set these same businesses up in their own hoods? And the reason is, they specifically chose these communities, or were told to go to these communities by those in power, because We know that we have been deprived of so much purposely. So they have been given opportunities that we haven't. They have thrived on being the benefactors of provisions that we fought for, but were not even privy to. We were denied access in a system that was set up specifically to keep us in a certain position. Of course, there are certain people that, in spite of it, they have found the means to do so. But we know we can go back in history and see how things were purposely set up within our communities. So do not think for a minute that Black people don't have the mental capacity to set up businesses. We have Black businessmen and women that are more than capable of serving food, having restaurants, doing manicures and pedicures, or any other thing that you pride yourself in. You are not special. You were just given access to financial resources and capital that oftentimes those in our community have been purposely denied access to. You don't work harder, and you're certainly not keener. What you've been given is the financial resources, and again, the access to goods and wholesale items and services that most of us are denied on purpose. Black people are more than capable of providing those same services, and even better, if given the same resources that you've had access to. So miss me and us with this misguided, false supremacist mentality that you think made you good business people. Many of us have always known this. You are simply privy to things that we have been denied, and even concocted a scheme to purposely keep us out of many of the industries that cater to us. In particular, I'm referring to the haircare industry. You can't deny that. But many are even developing and have found ways around that. But I am so glad to see that many of us are finally waking up and finding ways to serve our own, in spite of these duplicitous, underhanded business practices. So I want us all who understand the necessity and how very much essential it is to develop for us and provide for us in our own neighborhoods what we need. We need our own retailers, service providers, and suppliers, just as in other neighborhoods. I always said, how can we call them Black neighborhoods when we go and everybody running business, not everybody, majority, are non-Black people, but we can go. I know me and my husband personally, we would go to this place called Buford, and all we would see were Asians running everything. The McDonald's, the KFC, the clothing store. But whenever we would go to our own neighborhoods, it would be majority of foreigners running the businesses. This is not something that is coincidental. We know why it's so. But we must not only support our businesses today, but we also must treat each other with respect when we patronize Black businesses. There must always be a focus on developing and redeveloping our own neighborhoods. And as a Black business owner, we should engage in business ventures and capital that can elevate our neighborhoods. We should be able to get to the point where we can employ those in our neighborhoods and enhance our hoods as well. So be encouraged. Boycott these bad businesses that come in and disrespect or harm our people in any way. And let it be known to any group of people that decide to come into Black communities, you can't come in here and spew anti-Black rhetoric with anti-Black thinking and think that we will tolerate your disrespect, your mistreatment. It should be for anyone entering our so-called neighborhoods. You're not going to come in here and harm us and still expect to profit off of us while maintaining your disdain, yet profiting from the neighborhood. It's overtime. It's past time. The Black community should have been nipped that in the bud. No one should feel brash enough to think that you can come into our neighborhoods, our communities, and take the life of our people and to continue to get financial support. Hell to the now. Especially when it comes to harming our babies. None of us can claim that our children are perfect because they're children. Your children, no matter what color you call yourself to be, they make mistakes. They may do things that they shouldn't. But we should have enough sense to know you don't take anybody's life simply because of a bottle of water. Is a life worth a bottle of water taking someone's life? So whenever possible, I want to encourage us to share the name and locations of Black-owned businesses that provide some of the services that we utilize. And as we continue to support those Black businesses, because I am seeing many of them get on and talk about the increase in revenue, hopefully with the increase in revenue, new Black businesses will continue to open and provide these services that you've been utilizing with other non-Black people in our community. And as the revenue increases, these Black businesses that come in that are new can better cater to us. So the Black community can actually be one. But we have to understand that we require no less of our own than we would of anyone else. We want respect, professionalism, and quality goods and services. Now, when we share Black businesses that we want to encourage others to support, during this boycott, we have to do our due diligence, because I am seeing those who are falsely claiming to be Black businesses when they are actually not. I can recall as a child living in the South, my mother would say, I have to say straight off, I'm from the South, and we talk a certain way, and we say words that others may not be familiar with. But if you are from the South, as I am, then this will be familiar to you. If you know, you just know what I'm talking about. But as a child, our mother and my auntie and my uncle would say to us as children, don't y'all go in them juba shots without me. And I always wondered why they would say that. Don't y'all be up in them juba shots without us. Because them people treat Black children bad, is what they would say. And they would do this unless there was an adult in there with them. And I found that to be very true. So even back then, they knew what kind of people they were dealing with. But we don't have to continue putting up with that nonsense today. The time is now to make a change. It's really been overdue. But I want to encourage everyone to continue this boycott and know that I, for one, am participating. And I believe in not spending my money with those that disrespect, mistreat, and harm us in our neighborhoods especially. Choose a Black business to support. No, sometimes it's difficult and it's hard to find according to where you are, but we must practice group economics and it not just be a slogan. It must be a way of life for us. Stay uplifted and stay the course. And know change is inevitable. Now I want you to tell me what you think about this topic. Do you agree with this boycott? Should Black people boycott non-Black businesses that come into Black communities and disrespect or harm Black people? Subscribe and leave me your thoughts. I want to thank you for listening. Join me next time for another discussion with Dena. Ta-ta.
This concludes the daily discussion with Dena. Join us Monday through Friday at 12:30 p.m. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment.